Got junk too big for the trash can? Then call 311 to schedule a bulky item pickup. Riverside residents get 2 free pickups a year, but you gotta follow 3 simple rules. Bulky items must be curbside by 5:30 a.m. the day of your pickup, light enough for 2 people to lift, and the total volume can't be larger than 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. If you got a lot of junk, check out our bulky item and e-waste drop-off events held several times each year. Bulky item pickup. Call us today and we'll haul it away.
It's Friday night. It's late August. It can only mean one thing. High school football is back in the city of Riverside, and we have it here on the Riverside TV Game of the Week. We're coming to you live from Ramona High School Stadium as Arlington is going to battle Hillcrest to start the season. I'm Jeff Gorham. He's Nick Rice. Welcome, Nick. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, I'm very excited for the start of another high school football season. It should be an incredible matchup, just as we had last year in the opener. Arlington, a team led by head coach Jeff Roney, which in his first full off season with the weight training, with the different regimens and the schematics that he employs for his football team, this club looks a heck of a lot more ready. Last year, it was his first year. This is a former with 23 years of coaching experience, a former champion as a head coach at La Sierra. So he certainly has the experience and the resume to really bring this team to new heights in 2019. Arlington and Hillcrest, the Lions certainly look like a team poised to have a big run this year.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hillcrest comes in as the defending River Valley League champs. They were 5-0. But they lost their head coach. John Branham stepped down into retirement. Travis Carter steps in. And I'll tell you what, he doesn't lose much. He's got a great quarterback, and he's looking to repeat in the River Valley League. It should be a great one tonight on Riverside TV. We will be right back with the start of the game on Riverside TV Game of the Week. And welcome. It's Friday night, and it is the Riverside TV Game of the Week between Hillcrest and Arlington. A big, big game here at the Riverside Stadium. Well, more on tonight's game. We're going to kick it down to our third man on the field, J.R. Ibarra.
Well, guys, just to expound on what you guys have already been talking about, it's a really good matchup tonight of 2 very different teams. For Hillcrest, you want to take note of their quarterback, Cameron Payne. He was a starter as a sophomore, generated 2,400 yards of offense with 25 touchdowns. 1,800 of those yards were in the air and the rest on the ground, so he's a real threat to run if he can't find an open receiver. On the other side of the scrimmage, Isaiah Luta, a senior quarterback, has some pretty good skills, but it's Zeke Valentine, the running back, you want to take note of for the Lions of Arlington. And why not? The offensive line has really beefed up over the offseason. And talking to head coach Jeff Roney, the average player gained about 29 pounds per offensive lineman, so it's got a lot of girth. Specifically also with Jaden Kniezer, 6'3", 310 pounds. He's a big kid who's going to try to push his way into that defensive line against his opponents for tonight's football game. So, guys, let's get it teed up. Let's start off 2019. Send it back up to you.
Thank you, JR. It's great to see you again, and it's great to have another year here on Riverside TV. Once again, I am Jeff Gorham. He is Nick Rice, and we are getting ready for the kickoff.
Well, it should be an incredible matchup. I mean, last year in a 28-20 football game, both teams played very well, especially offensively. 5 total touchdowns split between the 2 quarterbacks. And with most of these rosters returning for the 2019 season, we may just have a very similar football game tonight. Jeff, you think that it may be a similar type score?
Well, I think there's just 2 separate teams. Last year, Arlington, they struggled. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it. They didn't win last year. Coach Roney took over late in the season. He didn't have a full time to spend with his weight room in the summer. He didn't get to do the 7-on-7 like most programs do. But they were close in a lot of games. They have to play in a very tough conference. But Coach Roney's changed his style. They're going to run, a smash mouth type football. You could see an eye back, maybe a double wing, but they will control the clock. They will control the tempo and try to really just have field advantage and keep it close. On the other hand, you have Hillcrest. Travis Carter, who was a protege of John Brandom, learned a lot of great things, and I don't think they're going to change the scheme too much because they do have some outstanding athletes on the Hillcrest side. Remember, they went 5-0 in the River Valley League and really dominated everybody, and they're looking to reestablish themselves this year and go back-to-back in the River Valley League.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of what you mentioned, and this game featured just the top two running backs, nearly 60 carries between the two, so we may have a flashback to the past for this football game tonight with two teams that could certainly establish the run early, Hillcrest and Arlington.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there's a couple playmakers to keep your eye on, and that is number one, Cameron Payne from Hillcrest, a very, very athletic quarterback. And he's got some weapons. He's got great receivers. The receiving core of Julian Bishop, Ryan Howard, Xavier Banks, and Johnny Rivera are potent, but they've got a running back that they have to fill, and that will be on Anthony Correa.
Arlington, as those of you joining us here on Riverside TV are dressed in the beautiful maroon uniforms, tops and bottoms, we're getting a good representation of the Trojans of Hillcrest, fresh off that River Valley championship that Jeff aforementioned. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra here from Riverside, California. Glad you're with us. Meanwhile, of course, Hillcrest is dressed in the all-whites with the dark red numerals and also the red helmets. And Hillcrest will be kicking off to begin this game.
And I'll tell you what, the uniforms look pretty nice. You can actually see the numbers, which is great when you're calling a game. But like you said, just a year ago, these two teams battled it out at the Alvord Stadium. 28-20 victory for Hillcrest. Hillcrest went on to do great things. In fact, 2 seasons ago, there was a 5-way tie for the River Valley League Championship. So you had 5 out of the 6 teams could call themselves league champs.
Right.
And right now, Coach Jeff Roney, who's been coaching here forever in the area, is looking to rebuild this Arlington program, and he's got it going on the right foot.
Yeah, to be specific, 23 years of coaching in high school athletics. Kickoff is squibbed to the 25, and Hillcrest, that defense, will take a good look at them as Arlington hits the field offensively first.
And once again, let's keep an eye on that big man, right tackle Jaden Kenizer. He's 310 pounds, can run like the wind. Number 58, keep an eye on him, and the great, talented senior quarterback, Isaiah Luta.
Last year, Luta, according to Max Preps, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in the game that he played. He's a dual threat with 4 rushing scores, and he feeds inside on the first play of the game. And Sean will pick up the first down for Arlington. Straight ahead run of 14.
Yeah, Taylor Damasio, the junior. As you see, it's a single back. It's kind of a double wing.
Yeah.
Running off tackle, run off guard. It's going to be house right, house left all night long here if we anticipate the run.
Taylor Damasio runs again over the right hash across the 50. He rumbles with a 44 of Hillcrest. And we had just mentioned that Arlington, with an entire offseason to prepare, they beefed up the line, and it has paid huge dividends.
In fact, Coach Roney talked to us before the game, said, he hadn't had a chance to really work with his guys, but they've, on average, 29.4 pounds each player has gained in the offseason.
29.4. They certainly do a good job there of keeping track. Sweeping run for Taylor Damasio outside, and with a flag thrown, he motors to about the 35. All right, it's been clear about where Arlington wants to feed the ball to begin this game.
Like I said, they're going to run off tackle, a lot of double wing stuff with a single back. We're going to keep this Hillcrest line
honest. Look for them to maybe throw occasionally.
5'7", 185 pounds. Taylor Damasio has been a bell cow to start this contest, but a hold brings back Arlington. The Trojans won a hotly contested affair last year in the meeting between these two, 28-20. Inside run to Ezekiel Valentine, who finds a seam outside and takes a tumble to about the 44-yard line, wiping out the holding penalty yardage.
Yeah, Coach Roney talked about Ezekiel Valentine, the senior, said how hard he worked in the offseason. He's kind of the leader of this ball club.
And Coach had talked about him as being someone who could certainly compete at the next level in collegiate athletics. Has the capabilities of doing that. 5'10", 195-pound tailback. He will dot the I. In front of him is Damasio again. Fifth straight run, dialed up by Arlington. It's a stretch handoff left, and he is escorted out of bounds. It sets up a third down and potentially a passing down on the part of Arlington.
Yeah, Zeke Valentine and Jaden Kenizer both want to play college football together. In fact, being recruited by Utah State. They're on campus about every month, checking out the guys, and they want to kind of go as a package deal.
They certainly have the capabilities of doing it. The two Arlington Stars. As the Lions face 3rd and 7, we have whistles just past 2 minutes into the opening quarter of our Riverside TV game of the week.
It looks like Coach Roney called timeout. Kind of, the first game jitters.
Yeah.
You have timing difficulties. You try to shorten your playbook the first couple weeks, try to get your guys going. But with Coach Roney, seems like he's thrown the playbook that he's had out the window and has really gone to the smash mouth football.
Well, he did warn us that they would go heavy ground to start the game and throughout.
No, he's got a friend across town, a guy named Ken Batdorf. Maybe you've heard of him. He's been coaching at Norte Vista for the last 26 years and really has built his entire career off the double wing. Runs it off a single eye back. And so they spend a lot of time in the offseason kind of going over Coach Batdorf's playbook. And as we've seen so far, Coach Roney has thrown a lot of it into his Arlington Lion team here.
Now, will the Lions certainly return many of those players from a season ago? So he had an offseason to talk about schematics to them. Lions face 3rd down and 7. Luda fakes the handoff to Zeke, scrambles right, unloads towards the sideline, and the pass is dropped. Incomplete, intended for Deshaun Bell.
Yeah, and if you watch, that was a great move by the senior quarterback. He rolls out to his right and throws to his left across the body. A tough pass, probably a pretty good ball thrown. Deshaun Bell probably should have caught that ball.
Yeah.
But that's set up here as we look at the replay. He takes a good rollout.
Southpaw gets rid of it too. That was inches away from really being a pinpoint throw. Luda, who had in the last meeting between these two 25 pass attempts and 26 run attempts, and that 28-20 decision against Hillcrest, a timeout is called yet again with a 4th and 7 upcoming for Arlington.
Just like we said, when you have a new playbook, you're going to have some issues. And so Coach Roney decides to call another timeout, kind of maybe get his guys acclimated. You got the first game jitters, playing in front of a great crowd here at Ramona Stadium.
I mean, a very capable runner Isaiah Luda is, the quarterback for Arlington. That certainly makes for head coach Jeff Roney a man that can take over his offensive schematics, a run-heavy football team, and he can certainly be a threat in this football game with how he can pass and run.
Yeah, and especially when you're running such a heavy running game with, your running back, fullback. The quarterback sometimes will have to lead the block, and he's just that kind of guy. He's very aggressive, very strong, but very quick. So open field could be trouble if their Hillcrest doesn't pay attention to that young quarterback.
Hillcrest will line up in a base 4-3 defense as Arlington will go for it on 4th and 7 with the pistol snap. Isaiah Luda loses the ball. Turnover on downs. As he fumbles and it's scooped up by way of Hillcrest. Gabriel Dominguez, the senior linebacker who was just in the perfect place as Luda faked the handoff. I'm sure he didn't anticipate that sort of pressure up front.
It looks like Luda held on to the ball a little too long. He wasn't sure if he was going to keep it or get rid of it, but the Travis Carter offense for Hillcrest making its debut here.
Yeah, Cameron Payne is the quarterback for Hillcrest. He takes the snap and feeds straight ahead to his running back. And with a flag thrown, he is hit by a cloud of dust and taken back after a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, Cameron Payne is one of those cerebral quarterbacks, very, very athletic, able to run. He sees basically 2 passes ahead. If he runs the option, smart enough to get rid of it, smart enough to keep it. He's one of those guys to keep an eye on. If he gets open in the field, he could be dangerous.
Certainly could. His running back, Anthony Correa, had 4 runs all of last year, but he emerges as the starting tailback to begin his junior season. But this offense may be in a passing situation. 1st down and long. Correa, sweeping run to the left. He is hit in the backfield, slips 2 tackles, and bowls ahead to the 38. Physical run of 4 yards for Anthony Correa on 1st down.
I'll tell you, Samanje Cartwright nearly got him in the backfield there from Arlington, but slipped right through it.
Get this, he's 5'3", 130 pounds.
He's about the size of my 6-year-old. You know, I'm 6'8", 235, and I'm telling you, my 6-year-old could rival that size right now.
Wow. Off the play action to Correa. The quick flip in the right hash. That pass is caught. On the run, it's Xavier Banks. And he moves the chains out to the 45-yard line. Dazzling 20-yard catch and run from the junior receiver, Xavier Banks.
And we talked about those receivers. You know, that was their bread and butter with Payne the last couple of years, as they've been able to hit those receivers. They've always had great running backs. But now we're going to test it. Let's see if they can get to that Lions secondary here early in the game.
3rd play of this drive, direct snap to Payne with a design quarterback draw, and he scrambles over the hash for a 7-yard pickup. Strong 1st down run for the quarterback.
Well, if he can do that, give him the ball every time.
Yeah.
A little Michael Vick.
Yeah, the man was solid in the game last year against Arlington. 5 for 13, 151 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 28-20 win. Payne off play action, dumps to Banks, who spins and then is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage.
Dason Bell nearly with the tackle there. I am pretty impressed with Arlington's quickness. Maybe not their tackling here so far, but their quickness off the line has been pretty impressive here.
Samanje Cartwright, who just recorded the last tackle, is threatening blitz for Arlington. They'll go draw, and Banks is spilled for a loss.
And Daniel Gomez, that just shows another one of the athletic size right there. The defensive end came across the field to get him on that play.
Arlington missed the 4th and 7 offensively to begin this game, suffering a turnover on downs. After 5 plays, Hillcrest faces 4th and 7 on this drive. Snap is to Payne as they'll go for it. He fires deep downfield, and the pass, he had to come back for it, but is caught downfield by Howard, and he is tagged inside the 10.
Like I said, Cameron Payne, very cerebral, pretty patient there. He just backed up, picked his targets, and picked the right one there.
All right, Ryan Howard was all alone downfield. A better pass. He walks into the end zone. Flag is thrown with 6:30 to play in a fast-moving opening quarter. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra. Glad you're with us on the Riverside TV Game of the Week between Hillcrest and Arlington.
It's great to be back here. This is my fourth year calling these games for Riverside TV. And look at this great pass by Payne.
Wow, Howard, credit to him to adjust to make that catch. Snap is to Cameron Payne, who squirts through a small hole over the left guard and gains about 3 or 4 there.
I get very giddy for football season. You know, I'm a basketball guy, but I'll tell you what, I've been calling these football games now for years, and I'll say this, it's the best. It's like Christmas for me. I woke up this morning, I was open to open up presents, but no, I can't. I get to go call our high school football. It's the best thing in the world.
Here's the inside run, breaking out to the left. There is Lilo Meva. Touchdown, Hillcrest. Manny Robert, rather. Hillcrest with a sensational job on that 4th down conversion. Ryan Howard put them inside the 10, and the Trojans punch it in to score the first points of a game that so far has been pretty well balanced between these two.
Yeah, Howard with a very athletic move.
And they'll bring out the extra point team, will Hillcrest. And that PAT is good. Mason Hutton was the man who chipped it in. You've done this now going on your 4th year, as you mentioned, Jeff. What have you noticed from these football games over the years?
I'll tell you what, the Inland Empire is the best football area in all of California. You have the Trinity League, give it to them, but you know, they can go out and they can recruit, but you look at the best players in the area, across the entire college football landscape, you look at all the power conferences, and there's always a couple guys that are superstars that have come from the IE. And so I've just had a chance to see great players the last few years. Saw Jaden Daniels last year, was the #1 quarterback in the nation, who's now starting at Arizona State. Alexander Madison, a great running back, plays for the Minnesota Vikings. I've seen some great ones, but I'll tell you, the best football in the entire state of California is here in the IE.
And also some of the most entertaining football games, I would say, too. I mean, this is, for these leagues in Riverside, the multitude of them, it does seem to come down to like the final game, final drive. It could be this situation, same here, as that kickoff is down at around the 23. I mean, we were entertained with a thriller the last time these two teams met. That was in the opener, August 17th of a season ago.
Yeah, in fact, first minute of the game, Hillcrest scored 2 quick touchdowns, and you thought it was over, but Arlington battled back and got within. They ended up losing by 8, but it was an interesting game. If they hadn't have made those early mistakes, possibly might have had the victory. Season might have been a lot different for the Lions.
Certainly, it seems these early games could certainly put together the momentum you need to, in conference play, to potentially win a league championship. Inside run for the Lions to Zeke Valentine, gains 2 to set up their second drive. They featured a heavy dose of Taylor Damasio with 4 straight carries to begin their opening drive, which ended on a 4th down and 7 stop by Hillcrest on a fumble from Luda, which resulted in the short yardage touchdown drive by way of Hillcrest. 7-0 is the lead for the Trojans. Damasio, straight ahead run, and he surges past the tackler and is wrapped up after a 7-yard gain. Makwala is the Trojan on the stop, setting up 3rd and short.
And you watch Damasio here as he gets hit, he really continues to move those legs, and that's what gets him those extra yards. In fact, got him the first down. It wasn't short. It ended up being a first down, but very impressive so far from Mr. Damasio, the junior fullback.
Taylor Damasio is just 2 steps behind his quarterback in Luda, who will hand off to Valentine, stretching to the left. Valentine sprints towards the sideline and motors to about the 40. Strong gain on first down. Ezekiel Valentine. In all three levels of football, professionally, collegiately, and also in high school, you typically see teams employ 4 and 5 wide receiver sets, spreading out defenses. This is a blast of the past, and it certainly worked for Arlington to begin this game. They have gone heavy ground, which could, over the course of this game, exhaust that Hillcrest defense.
Yeah, and that's really what you're aiming for, is you've worked on your strength all season long. Let's see if your conditioning can handle it. If you stay close in this ball game through a half, it might tire down that Hillcrest defensive line.
With a 5-step drop, Luda goes long, and the pass is incomplete. Flag is thrown. This could be pass interference, intended for the senior receiver, Devin Johnson.
Well, I hope it's pass interference, or he tripped over the 40-yard line. And I don't think he did that. I believe it was a good call there.
Asante Mukwala was on the coverage for Hillcrest. And with a team that will really almost bore you with the amount of runs they employ on every drive, those quick throws can catch a defense off guard.
It really does, and it'll spread that defense. That secondary is going to have to look at Arlington. They've got to keep them honest. Arlington doing a pretty good job of clock management, running the ball, making smart plays. You just can't have penalties.
The pass interference is a 15-yard infraction, which moves the chains for Arlington late first quarter, down 7. So the 45-yard line of Hillcrest. Inside run, Damasio. He reaches the second level again. And on second effort, crawls to the 35-yard line.
Once again, continuing to move those legs, those tree trunks, getting right through the pea patch there. Watch him. Takes a hit right there, but you watch those legs. He's moving and moving, getting those extra 6 yards on that play.
Manny Robert was the one. I'm sure he was, to his chagrin, he was assigned to make that tackle. He did, but it took him an extra couple yards. I'm sure at this point, Hillcrest is not interested in tackling Damasio too many more times. The run netted them just inches short of the first down. Valentine is on the run. He's got one to beat at the 20 and spins to the 17. Mukwala saved a potential touchdown for Valentine. That's a gain of 17.
Well, I am very impressed with this new run game from Arlington.
Two-headed monster there in the backfield with a traditional old-fashioned I formation. Taylor Damasio and Ezekiel Valentine. Damasio remains in the game, but he is joined at running back by number 44, Arlington's senior Brian Wright. First down and 10, late first quarter. Luda tosses Wright with his first carry of the season. He'll sweep right and is wrapped up after a 1-yard gain. The cornerback for the Trojans, Nathan Bernal, a junior, records the stop. He had 39 tackles last year. Part of the Hillcrest defense, joined also by Arlington, two of the more experienced teams out of their respective leagues. We had talked to head coach Jeff Roney of Arlington. Of their 22 starters, 17 are seniors. A single receiver left is Devin Johnson for Arlington. Damasio runs again and is down to the 13.
And that's going to go against
Mukwala.
Hillcrest, and Arlington's going to be knocking on that door here at the end of the first quarter. Great hit, but it's high school. You got to calm down. The NFL, you can get away with that. High school,
That may be motivation for him to get there, right?
Yeah.
That's unnecessary roughness on the part of Hillcrest. It's not a full 15 yards because Arlington is close, and that speaks to the time of possession for the Lions. Significant in this first quarter.
And really, that's what's kept them in the ballgame. In fact, coming into this week, talking to both coaches, that was Jeff Roney's goal. His goal was to really utilize the clock, play smart, try not to get yourself in any penalty situations, and if you play smart and do those things, you have a shot to beat this really good Hillcrest team.
From the 7, first and goal. Luda under center, turns, hands to Valentine, dances to the 6, and slips through to about the 3. Arlington's got one slow to get up. This Lions drive started at their own 25-yard line. Impressive opening possession for the Arlington Lions as we look at our packed house from Ramona Stadium here in beautiful Riverside, California for the Riverside TV Game of the Week. Well, Arlington, we had mentioned a tough season in 2018 under the first-year head coach at the time, Jeff Roney. He's a former league champion at La Sierra around here in Riverside. As mentioned, Jeff, he's been here a long time. He assumes the position in favor of a very successful Rich Lunsford, who went 8-3 in his last year with the team. And Arlington, as we see right now, has made some significant improvements under the tutelage of Jeff Roney from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, sophomore season. Remember, they had Rich Lunsford, who had a great season 3 seasons ago. Ended up going to Redlands East Valley. All right, as we look here on the replay, we're going to check out what happened here.
There's 70 right there.
Yeah,
Alejandro Conrado, he got his leg cut under, the left leg.
Looks like, yeah,
Dominguez hit him.
an awkward knee issue, but the good thing is he's walking on his own.
Yeah, it looked bad, but yeah, kudos to him coming up on his own power. Arlington is knocking on the door with a 2nd and goal at the Hillcrest 3. With a minute to go first quarter, Luda under center, turns and hands. Damasio heads to his right and dives over the goal line. Touchdown, Arlington.
There's the strength of the offseason workout. Like I said, 29.4 pounds averaged gains by the entire team, and right there's a big one.
All right, Taylor Damasio was the difference maker throughout the first 2 drives for the Lions. First then with a 4th down stop. Arlington marches 75 yards. They attempt 1 Isaiah Luda pass on that drive. It was clear their game plan coming in. The Lions so far have only attempted 2 passes, I believe, in the first quarter of this matchup.
It could be a quick one. We could be home tonight and watch some good TV. I'll be home before Seinfeld.
Bring some TV, not as great as this TV, but
are you kidding me?
with the good hold, the extra point splits the uprights. From Isaac Conrado, the sophomore knocks through the PAT. We are tied at 7.
The replay here. Great inside move. Here's the whole drive. As you see, Damasio. A whole lot of Damasio peppered in.
With Valentine and even a run for Wright. They had 3 different runners on that drive. And of course, the pass interference certainly helped them.
There's another big run from Damasio as he gained 6 extra yards after the initial hit. And there's old Zeke, the spin move. And why not give it to your workhorse?
Well, you can see the chemistry with Damasio and with Valentine as they set their sights to Division I football, I'm sure, in the future. They certainly have the capability of doing that.
A little thunder and lightning?
How about that? Yeah, I'd say so. Conrado, his kickoff, end over end is taken inside the 15. Xavier Banks, their wide receiver. They'll also pitch the Hillcrest wideout running back plays, and the kickoff return man reaches the 38. Banks will be out of the game, however, for Hillcrest. The last Trojan drive was sparked by a fumble recovery from their linebacker Gabriel Dominguez, led to the short yardage touchdown drive. They begin their second possession at their own 38. Payne reels in the high snap and hands off straight ahead. It's a 7-yard gut run for Arlington and Anthony Correa. Four receivers out there for Hillcrest. Tied at 7. High snap. Payne fakes the handoff, dances straight ahead, and is spun down to the line of scrimmage. That may just end the first quarter.
Well, you got to be happy if you're both coaches right now. 7-7. Really both teams controlling the ball here on the ground.
Early movement for Arlington, no flag. First quarter's complete.
Well, it was definitely a great first quarter. And we are going to go down on the field to our third man, J.R. Ibarra.
Yeah, guys, we obviously have a really good matchup for tonight's contest, but looking down the road to the River Valley League, Hillcrest and North Vista are probably the two top teams that most experts are looking at to be the contenders for the league title. In fact, North Vista already has one in the win column. Last night, they beat Paloma Valley by a score of 28-14. And get this, they rushed for 483 yards on 64 carries. In fact, it was Eddie Elaine, the sophomore running back, who had 241 yards on just 40 carries. So Ken Batdorf, the head coach of North Vista, already has his team up and running and looking to challenge for a league title. We'll send it back up to you.
Thanks, JR. In fact, last night, the Inland Sports Show, Pep Fernandez and myself, we had a radio broadcast of that game. And like I said, 28-14 against a very good Paloma Valley team. Ken Batdorf has one of the better teams he's had in his 26 years tenured at Novi.
And the Braves were in the River Valley standings, second only to the Hillcrest Trojans a season ago at 4-1 in the league, 9-3 overall. They're every bit as capable as challenging Hillcrest this season. Toss to Correa outside on third down. He crawls near the first down marker. Appears a bit short.
And talking about the phenom sophomore Eddie Elaine, he is the younger brother of the starting running back at the University of Hawaii, Freddie Holly III. So good pedigree there. He's a little bigger than Freddie was. He's a taller, leaner, kind of a Eric Dickerson-esque running back. Very upright, very quick, very strong. North Vista is going to have a great running back for the next 3 years.
Fourth down and short. Arlington is calling signals defensively as the Trojans will go for it. They have converted one earlier. No Payne will punt. The quarterback sends it with no one deep for Arlington. And the punt rolls inside the 20 and is marked down at the 18. 35-yard punt for the Hillcrest quarterback. No return. And Arlington, with 11 minutes to go in the half, already with a significant time of possession edge, will take over inside their own 20.
Yeah, great game plan by Coach Roney. A completely different ball club than what we saw last year. Like I said, a short tenure becoming the head coach. Didn't put a lot of what he wanted to do, but he's had some time this year, and it's definitely paid dividends.
Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra, glad you're with us in the Riverside TV Game of the Week and the football season opener for us, for these two teams, and for high school programs across the country. Today's the day, a really special day. It's our version of Christmas. First and 10 for Arlington. Fullback dive, and he's loose as Tyler DeMarcio. 50, 40. He's chased from behind and is dropped at the 17. DeMarcio rips off a 55-yard run.
Great move, but I'll tell you what, wow.
And he's shaken up.
The quickness of Manny Robert, incredible. As we watch in a replay as Damasio's down. Looks like he might have got hit in the shoulder.
Yeah, Robert, he made up about 8 to 10 yards of traction there in favor of Damasio.
He looked like he was running the 100 pretty darn fast. Caught him from behind. tried to slap the ball out, but I really do think he hurt his shoulders. We look on the replay here. Great play. I'll tell you what, you got to give it to that offensive line.
Now, Robert was behind about 7 yards when he began that full-on sprint. Damasio was looking up at the field goal posts, running as fast as he could as well. Robert did an incredible job of also hanging on to the ball after he got shaken up. And during this time when he's out, this will certainly be a loss dearly missed by Arlington. As the Trojans, less than 5 minutes into the game, scored the first points. Arlington has established the run throughout this first half. Stretch run to Valentine, who gets a good block at the 15, cuts to the 10, then loses the ball, scooped up by his quarterback, Luda, at the 16-yard line. All of the effort he did to gain near first-down yardage, he lost on the fumble.
Looked like he was carrying a greased pig there, squirted out. the greased pigskin.
Yeah. It's a little tougher to hang on in first live action of the season. I would assume quite a few of these players were nervous coming out of the locker room for the first time onto the field, knowing that now this is real.
They're wearing. They have helmets on and gear. They shouldn't be scared of anything. They're like warriors out there.
Hey, you're a former football guy. You know all about what it's like coming out there.
It's like Winterfell. It's like Game of Thrones out here.
There's nothing quite like Game of Thrones. That's quite the show as Valentine spins at the 10.
You got Lions fighting some Trojans. It's similar.
Yeah, I guess you're right, yeah. This has certainly been a battle.
You can't be nervous coming into a football game wearing all of that, the shields, the helmets. Mm-hmm. The only thing they're missing is a mace. If they had a mace or a sword or something like that would make it then you'd be nervous. But right now, you don't be nervous.
Oh, no.
No.
Hillcrest, I'm sure they don't have time to be nervous. They're pretty darn exhausted, I'm sure, after another time-consuming drive employed by the Lions, who will go ground. Valentine's at the 10. Touchdown, Arlington.
And just like that, you talked about the Hillcrest Trojans possibly being tired. I'll tell you what, Arlington seems to have had the ball the entire first half here. Ground and pound.
That was an 83-yard drive by the Lions. Damasio was the key play throughout that possession with a long run. Extra point by Isaac Conrado, just a sophomore. The kick is up, and he splits the uprights with plenty of room to spare. So Arlington, as mentioned, less than 2 minutes into the game as we see Valentine scores here with a good block. Also, this could be a good opportunity to rave about Alejandro Conrado, the man who we saw in the first quarter go down with an injury where he got his leg cut under him by Dominguez. Conrado was the one who paved the way with a good downfield block, springing loose Valentine for the touchdown.
And once again, welcome back to the Riverside TV Game of the Week. Hillcrest versus Arlington. We got another great one next week. Great Oak versus King. If you're watching us tonight on AT&T, Channel 99, on Charter Spectrum, Channel 3, and Frontier, Channel 21. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So we are everywhere tonight, Nick Rice.
Glad to be a part of it. Line drive kickoff is fielded on the leg of Conrado at the 10. A good return between the hashes by the Trojan senior Ryan Howard as he is spilled to the 28-yard line.
And we'd also like to mention this year, Riverside TV has joined forces.
Oh, have they?
Riverside City College.
Oh, yes.
And we will be covering 5 games this year. In fact, we've got the big one in September 21st, the crosstown rival.
Oh, yes.
San Bernardino Valley versus Riverside City College. And we hope to have you check out all the games here this season on Riverside TV.
1st and 10 for Hillcrest. Payne reels in the high snap. Inside run to Bledsoe, who heads to his left, and he's got a convoy. 50. And Bledsoe's run out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Wagner made the stop.
And the thing about Hillcrest is they do have playmakers. They have athletes, across the board. Men or boys basketball, CIF champions, baseball, fantastic, soccer, every sport Hillcrest does a very good job.
Howard certainly looks like a man who could assume the starting running back spot for most of the year. Correa runs outside and motors across the 35-yard line. Dazzling run of 14 for the 5'3" running back Anthony Correa. First down, Hillcrest.
We talked about my son being that size, but I don't think my son could take that kind of hits.
Yeah, he may also be the most physical player on that offense right now. He's certainly displaying it. Correa runs again inside and is wrapped up after a 3-yard gain. You mentioned a few moments ago the joining forces with Riverside College. Their football program has been sensational, and according to J.C. Gridiron, they are the 3rd-ranked team in the country and 1st in California for football this year. Of course, preseason rankings mean one thing, postseason another. We'll see how they play throughout the year, but that's certainly something special to be ranked that high, as Payne is sacked by Dustin Wagner.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the Tigers. Tom Kraft, the former head coach at San Diego State, I believe.
Yes.
A guru of offense. Can't wait to see them this season.
Now, we've seen a couple of different schematics, and I would say some gurus themselves with Hillcrest and Arlington. I mean, the Lions completely changed their game plan offensively, and sometimes the best part or the most important part of a coaching staff is to recognize what you have and the strengths of your football team. The Lions with Jeff Roney certainly appear that way. Hillcrest spreading it out with Travis Carter in his first year certainly appear poised for a strong season as Payne is pressured, spins out of 2 defenders. Payne is still going. He scrambles right, looks, flips it short. The pass is caught. Downfield, it's Ryan Howard. Touchdown, Hillcrest.
Like I said, big-time playmakers. Howard taking it to the house.
Cameron Payne appeared to have been tackled about 4 different times. Dazzling moves inside the pocket by way of the junior quarterback who had an incredible season a year ago and has added on to it in the first half of a game that is an extra point away from being tied at 14. And that looked almost effortless for Cameron Payne.
Yeah, he's such a good athlete.
Extra point is no good. Missed by Mason Hutton, and Arlington retains the lead, and it seems in this sort of football game that may be a very important miss. We'll see. 14-13. It almost made the catch and run by Ryan Howard almost look traditional in comparison to the incredible acrobatics in the pocket.
And
like a ballet dancer keeping up his footing.
And I'll tell you what, we talked about Norte Vista being, the front runner, but I'll tell you, Hillcrest, 5-0 last year in the River Valley League, looking like they're just as athletic as they were last year. Don't count them out as a repeat.
Yeah. So Hillcrest in the River Valley standings went 8-4, 5-0 in the league. Norte Vista 9-3, 4-1 in the conference, but also in the middle of that pack in the league, Ramona and Patriot both had overall winning records. 7-4 and 6-5. La Sierra went 5-5. It's too bad because if you take out their conference record, they were 4-1 going into league play. With a short kickoff muffed, there is a scramble for it at the 32-yard line. This would be the first turnover of the game if you take out the turnover on downs that was suffered by Arlington in the first quarter. Trojans nearly had possession. Lions will retain it with 7:06 to go in the half.
In fact, talking about that Hillcrest team last year, I mean, they walked through the league. They beat Norte Vista 53-14, narrowly beat Ramona 14-3, but then went on to score 42 versus Patriot, 50 versus La Sierra, and rounded out the season putting up 63 on Jurupa Valley.
Wow.
Very potent offense last year.
And the Lions have the lead against them. Damasio runs over the right guard and takes a tumble to the 43-yard line. First down, Arlington. Or it appears, yes, late signal, first down. Damasio runs for another 10 yards. Taylor Damasio, in just the first half, has eclipsed 100 yards rushing. Incredible performance today by the fullback. And he hasn't been the only one running the football, joined by Brian Wright and Ezekiel Valentine, who scored the touchdown a moment ago. Damasio has the other one in a 14-13 lead for the Lions. Luda backs 5 steps, fires right sideline, and overshoots Devin Johnson. Incomplete. And Luda took a hit as soon as he got rid of the football. Just the third pass attempts of Arlington so far in the first half, in a backyard, old-fashioned offensive style. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra, Riverside TV Game of the Week, and we've got a good one in a back-and-forth affair. Luda on second down with the I formation. We've got a flag thrown. Both of these coaching staffs, as you mentioned about Hillcrest and Arlington, they have some tough schedules before they begin league play. And especially for Arlington, they talked about playing some upper league teams throughout the preseason, and that certainly could shape to be a more successful conference season for them.
In fact, Arlington will go on to play Xavier Prep next week, and then they will play Jurupa Hills, and the 13th they will play Ramona here as well, and then they will get into league play versus Valley View.
And Hillcrest, we should have that matchup on October 11th, so we'll be able to see this team again in the coming weeks and how they will progress, as will Arlington. This second down run gains a few by Ezekiel Valentine. We will see if some of Valentine's reserves at running back have many snaps in this football game. Valentine has been a workhorse at the running back position today for Arlington. Third down and 11. At wide receiver, Devin Johnson is out. Justice Robinson is split to the left on third down. Luda retreats 7 steps, pass rush coming. And Luda is sacked.
So now the tide has turned a little bit here as Hillcrest is able to make some stops here versus the Lions.
And for the first time, head coach Jeff Roney brings out the punt team. I mean, the resume of Roney is incredibly impressive. 23rd year coaching high school football, his 4th as a head coach. He guided in just 2 years La Sierra to an undefeated league championship, their first outright undefeated league championship since 1978.
Yikes.
Yeah. Snap is to Conrado, who gets rid of it on the punt, end over end. On a hop, it'll roll across the 35-yard line. And the Trojan return man, Xavier Banks, has a stop at the 31.
And talking about that Hillcrest non-league schedule, they will go on to play next week versus Notre Dame, a very good team. Then they go on the road to Grand Terrace, Kaiser and finish up with Temescal Canyon. So a very tough schedule before they go into River Valley League play.
Now Hillcrest looks to avenge their second-round playoff loss they suffered last year to the Bearcats of Bonita, 45-40. They're also a premier team out of the CIF, as that run gains 9. Bonita in that game took a 24-0 lead early in the second quarter. Hillcrest came all the way back. If the Trojans didn't suffer such a slow start, they may have won that playoff game and advanced to the third round in the CIF. Payne back, rears up and throws, left sideline, and on the run yet again for the Trojans is Correa.
Yeah, Trojans able to get on the outside there. A quick pass from Payne.
And Hillcrest is on the move quickly on a drive that started their own 38. Inside run to Correa, and he is wrapped up quickly by Xavier Rideouts. The junior linebacker, 6 foot, 170 pounds. He busts into that gap quickly and delivers a 4-yard tackle for loss.
Yeah, great defensive effort there by the Lions as we look here on the replay. Bad snap, but
Rideout shed a block of the right tackle there. Incredible effort as he shed Mason Hutton and made the play. Tunnel screen right, a quick flip towards the sideline to Howard, and he is wrestled down quickly. Aviata Lilo Mayava with a flag thrown, wrestled him out.
Yeah, it looks like Arlington might have been involved on the sidelines there. They're going to call a personal foul, looks like, here on the sideline. We're waiting for the call here.
Backbreaker for the Lions. Arlington, if you take away this penalty, they had forced them into a 3rd and 15. The ball advances to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, tough play there. You got to be smart. First game of the year, I understand jitters, but you have to play smart. You got to play patient, and you got to play with a little bit of composure.
Yeah, Jeff, not everybody can get rid of those jitters quite like you can, right?
No.
Only certain people can keep their laser focus.
I have ice in my veins.
I'm starting to get ice in my veins. It's just because it's so cold now. Payne flips it in the hash, and the pass is dropped. Payne did his job at wide receiver, dropped by Xavier Banks, who otherwise is at a fine first-half performance.
A beautiful night here at the RUSD Stadium. Got a nice sunset going on. This is
just a beautiful sunset coming up to our west. Hillcrest faked a 4th and 1 attempt. They had the offense out there, but Payne had a designed punt. They converted a 4th and 5 in the first quarter, but Arlington will reserve their second of 3 clock stoppages with 3:02 to go in the first half. Glad you're with us. Riverside TV Game of the Week. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra, who so eloquently pointed out pregame Arlington had beefed up throughout the offseason. Your impressions of the first half for a Lions club that in the previous matchup trailed by 14 early. Now they lead 14-13 late in the first half.
Well, they just played with composure. They played smart for the most part. This last penalty, not too smart, but they've controlled the clock, they've controlled the ball, and they haven't turned it over. That is key. If you're going to run the ball as much as they do and they haven't turned it over, that shows that they have worked hard in the offseason. The strength is there, and they're playing smart football. They're playing Roney football.
And this crowd knows it. They are jazzed as Hillcrest has the offense out there off the timeout from Jeff Roney. 4th down and 2.
We have an update. King is now Martin Luther King High School playing Temescal Canyon. A 0-0 at half.
A little different than this game. Payne all alone in the backfield, takes the snap, flips it short. Banks makes the catch this time. That is wrapped up by Tyler Jones. Pickup of 5 yards. First down for Hillcrest.
Quick pass You spread the field there, as you see. Got 3 up top. And just a quick pass. Perfect, right on the money.
Hillcrest, their quarterback, Cameron Payne, has shown some composure throughout this late first half drive. Now a flag has been thrown. Cameron Payne, just a junior signal caller. Last year, 27 total touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. Fine year for him with over 2,400 yards all-purpose.
That's quite a few yards.
Yeah, as just a sophomore, he's a dual threat certainly. And actually a triple threat if you add in his punting ability. 1st and 10 from the 29 of Arlington. Empty formation. Payne will run over the right guard. And he is hit initially at the line of scrimmage by Rideout and tumbles to the 23. Scamper of 6 yards for the junior quarterback.
Well, it's nice when you have Payne. It's almost like a wildcat offense. Just give it to your running back quarterback.
And as you see here, a good angle. The offensive line is spread about 3 or 4 feet between each other, allowing for Payne more spread out defense in order to make reads against. Direct snap, Payne will run again, and he squirts to the second level, then is knocked down to the 19. 4-yard run, and near a first down. The tackle was made by Deshaun Bell, the senior linebacker of Arlington. First down, Hillcrest. And if the Trojans use this drive wisely, they may take all the 2 minutes off, as the Lions have just 1 timeout in their back pocket.
We are at week 0. I know it makes no sense if you're listening, but it is week 0 of the high school football season.
Sure doesn't. The pass is off the hands of Howard and intercepted. Payne had that quick flip sail over Howard. He couldn't corral it, leaping in the air. And Arlington takes over.
Looks like, if you watch the replay, it looked like it was tipped. And it was a lollipop up there. Somebody had to go up and grab it.
And the one who did was Deshaun Marsadell, number 10, the senior. He was in the perfect position to record the interception. And for a team that employed run about 85 to 90% of their snaps so far in the first half, they may have to throw the ball. They'll spread 4 receivers. Luda off play action, scrambles right, and is lassoed by what looked to be potentially the horse collar, as he was spilled by way of Bernal. Sosa was in there as well. No penalty flag thrown, as Luda gains a long 8 yards.
Arlington electing to go to the 2-minute offense here, no huddle.
Lions certainly short on time. Belt high snap. Luda scrambles to his left as he rolls the pocket, goes deep downfield. Nearly intercepted off the hands of Bernal with a flag thrown. The pass was intended for Deshaun Bell. .6 seconds remaining in the opening half. Lions have nearly double the time of possession of the Trojans in a 1-point football game. And it should be noted, Hillcrest will receive the second half kickoff. That's a 15-yard penalty on a pass interference. And that certainly is a very fortuitous call, considering that the Lions would have been backed up inside their own 25.
Let's see if Arlington will play conservative football here.
If you're Hillcrest, do you bring more than 4 after Luda, the quarterback?
I think you got to be smart. You got to play, you got to play zone. You got to keep them from running it right up the gut. Maybe put 7 in the box here.
Currently, Hillcrest has 6 in the box, but the safety creeps up towards the slot receiver. Toss left to Valentine, who scampers out of bounds at the 43. He is hammered at the boundary by Asante Makwala of the Trojans after a run of 5.
He said, "How do you do, young man?" That was a big-time hit.
But the clock is stopped. We have yet to see their sophomore field goal kicker and kickoff man, Isaac Conrado, attempt a field goal this season. He has none last year. But from the looks of it, they are about 30 yards away from field goal range rather, as the Lions are at their own 43 in the left hash. 14-13, Arlington. Play action to Valentine, and the pass is off the fingertips of Devin Johnson. Incomplete.
Yeah, he might have taken that to the house. It hit him in a bad spot.
Yeah.
The hands.
Man, if Luda only caught it for him, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
3rd down and 5. The Lions have been very efficient on these 3rd downs of the first half, led by their quarterback Isaiah Luda, who himself is also a dual threat. He'll take the snap from the pistol against the blitz. He evades to his left. Luda will run and shimmies out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Shifty run of 9 yards for Isaiah Luda. Our head coach Jeff Roney has to be encouraged about the promise of this offense this year, led by his signal caller.
Yeah, just the poise. They haven't turned the ball over in the half. They've done a great job here of controlling this tempo of this ball game.
1st down and 10 from the Hillcrest 48. Luda the snap. Inside run. Valentine heads towards the edge. And he is wrapped up with a 42. 30 seconds and counting here in the second quarter.
We'll see if they try to get a playoff here.
They are still about 10 to 15 yards away from field goal range. And Luda will clock the ball with 13.9 seconds to go in the half. What's the play call here as now they face a 3rd down and short? Would you do?
Well, you know, if I'm Arlington, I'm gonna play it safe. Obviously, they have something they want to try to put up their sleeves. They stop the play. Let's see if they are smart. I wouldn't go deep. I probably go short.
Yeah, they may not even have enough time if they wait for receivers to stand in the end zone there. 4 receivers out there on 3rd and 3. Snap to Luda. 4-man rush. He's looking long and is sacked. Clock still running. No timeout is called. Jeff Roney is signaling timeout. Even though the clock does expire here, he'll have one more snap. That may have been by design. I'll leave them a couple of seconds. Just a 4-man rush, and Hillcrest got there, led by Armando Sosa, who had 2 sacks last year for the Trojans. The junior defensive end records the first sack of the game for Hillcrest.
We're going to see how many seconds they put up on the clock here.
Now, the Trojans, we had spoken at nauseum there about Arlington, but Hillcrest has a very exciting quarterback in Cameron Payne. Just a junior, and he has been one of the stars for the Trojans in this first half.
Oh, he was phenomenal last year. Like I said, put up some huge numbers. But you've seen the maturity of a year has done on him. You know, they've lost some key players in this offseason, but he's taken right where he's left off at the end of last year. As we look at our crew up.
Wonderful crew.
Riverside TV. Remember, you can catch tonight's games on AT&T 99, Spectrum Channel 3, and Frontier 21, the award-winning crew here at Riverside TV.
Online as well, right?
We are all over the place.
Oh, man, too many places to access us.
I believe we're on Facebook, Twitter, and all over the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Hey, YouTube.
Hey, how about that? So really, this is the last snap of the half, barring a penalty. As they may just take a shot to the end zone here. Luda back with a 4-man rush. Sosa chases him again as Luda guns it over the middle. Tipped and nearly intercepted.
Now there is a penalty.
Deflection by Jael Bailey, who was juggling it. He thought he had it. Did number 12 there in the white with the maroon numbers.
I believe we're going to get one more play here. can't end the half. If it's a defensive penalty, Arlington will have one more shot. Let's see if it's. Nope, they're gonna.
Assessed on the kickoff. They'll send it to the 20. Isaiah Luda, no shame in the way he played. It was very well, and also limited snaps passing. So a fine first half performance, 14-13.
Well, you got to be happy if you're Coach Roney, and we have Coach Roney with J.R. Ibarra. Go ahead, J.R.
Coach, how would you assess that first half?
I'm pleased with our effort. There's a lot of mistakes we have to clean up and improve on. But that's, I think the only issues we're having is when we're beating ourselves. I think if we execute better in the second half, I think I like where we're at. I mean, we're up at the half. That's a good start, but definitely have a lot more work to do.
Been effective in running the football.
Yeah, no, we have, and mixing it up with our fullback, Mercadell, and our tailback, Valentine. Yeah, kind of just mixing it up with the two of them. They're doing a good job.
And not bad defensive play as well.
Yeah, we need to improve our tackling. We definitely need to improve our tackling and execution. The drives we got stopped on, we had penalties on them. If every drive we've had that's clean, we were able to score. So it's just better execution on our part. But it's week one stuff, and we just have to, keep at it and make some adjustments here at the half.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll have a chance, hopefully, to talk with Travis Carter as we come back for the second half. You're watching all the action here on Riverside TV.
Thank you, JR. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham here at the booth in the half. Before then, we'll step aside. The Lions, a strong performance through 24 minutes with an incredible ground game, a two-headed monster over there. We'll talk about them and so much more coming up at the half. This has been the Riverside TV Game of the Week. Lions through two quarters lead 14-13.
Got junk too big for the trash can? Then call 311 to schedule a bulky item pickup. Riverside residents get 2 free pickups a year, but you gotta follow 3 simple rules. Bulky items must be curbside by 5:30 a.m. the day of your pickup, light enough for 2 people to lift, and the total volume can't be larger than 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. If you got a lot of junk, check out our bulky item and e-waste drop-off events held several times each year. Bulky item pickup. Call us today and we'll haul it away.
Police officer pilot. I've been with the city for a little over 10 years. I've always loved aviation and I've always loved law enforcement, so to be able to combine the two together, two of the things that I love the most. I've got experience in a background in law enforcement, so to couple that with aviation and fly every day and still do police work, that's why I'm out here. Work day shift 7 to 5. I usually get here a little before 7. We'll get an email on what occurred the previous evening, so I'll go through those. I'll also check temporary flight restrictions, so I'll check those and see if there's any in the area that we can't fly into. And then we'll go out and do a pre-flight on the helicopter. We'll walk around, check everything, make sure everything's functioning properly. And sometimes we're up for patrol. Other times when we're here on the ground, we'll respond to an incident. If a vehicle pursuit or a foot pursuit or something goes out, we'll launch for that. If there's a fire in the river bottom, we'll go up and provide air support for the firemen on the ground. Code enforcement uses us for their green pool flights, so we'll go up and we'll look for green pools. We're assisting a lot of different departments. I'm a 4th generation Riverside resident out of 5 generations now. My family has set roots here back in the 1900s, and I've got a connection to Riverside, so family and friends are here, and it's nice to give back to a community that you've been brought up in. So, if I were to describe my job in 2 words, it would be uniquely awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I get to fly a helicopter and do something that I really enjoy doing, at the same time protecting and serving a community that I grew up in. So.
Los Novios is a Mexican market located on Main Street, not far from downtown Riverside. The name means young male bull, which is typically used for its high-quality meat. Alberto Murillo is the owner.
Been in the business for years and years, almost 20 years in the city of Riverside. And always, since I started working, I always dreamed like one day I'll have my own business. And since I'm being in Riverside for so many years, I said, well, this is a good opportunity. So I asked a couple friends, and my brother, hey, this is the opportunity of our life. Do we take it or not? And they're like, yes, go for it.
The store features a good selection of fruits, vegetables, canned goods, meats, and seafood. There's also several kinds of cheese, salsa, and guacamole. Loyal customers who shop here say it's because of their fresh food and great customer service.
I hike at Mount Rubidoux, and I go here every morning to buy fresh ceviche. It's a great market, and they're just gonna get bigger and better, so come shop here.
Usually I'll come in here to buy lunch, but if I need anything for my house, any supplemental groceries, I come in here and I buy everything. Everything's fresh.
Alberto says he trains his staff to treat customers like family. Mercedes Duran is one of his cashiers.
Just asking with how are you doing, that makes a really big difference. And just being in a small market, you kind of notice who's who and what are they doing. Sometimes we'll even ask them, like, what are you cooking today? Are you doing spaghetti? Are you doing carne asada? Or, that makes a difference. Yeah.
I wanted the people, when they came, I wanted to feel like welcome, like, oh, this is my house, like this is family. And that's what I wanted to tell all my customers, that they're not just customers, they're guests for me. They're guests, they're my guests, they're my family all the time. When they came, if I know their names, I tell them about their names and everything. I shake hands all day long, and I think they like it.
My name's Lovey Jung, and I work for the City of Riverside Fire Department. I've been here for about 7 years now, and I'm a firefighter paramedic on Engine 1. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a firefighter, but I ended up getting sidetracked and went and played softball for the Olympic team in 2004 and 2008, and when I retired in 2009, that's when I decided I wanted to switch over to become a firefighter. Usually when I come in, the first thing I do is I check my personal protective equipment, and then I'll also check the medical equipment. Being a paramedic, I have to make sure all my medications are there and that my equipment's working properly, so that when we go on a scene to a medical aid, that everything's in working form and that we're professional on scene. If I were to describe my job in one word, it would be adventurous. Every day is different from day to day, depending on the training or the type of calls that we run. Some days we might go on more DUIs, or some days we might go on more traffic accidents. So every day that I come to work is going to be completely different from the day before and the next day. I get to work with a group of people that I enjoy working with and having that camaraderie that I missed from being an athlete. But now, being a mom, I want to be that role model for my daughter to, show her you can be independent and you can have a job that you want to work in, whether it's a male-dominated career or not. And I want her to understand that as she grows up.
We need to make sure our seniors are safe with consistent, proper nutrition and healthy foods delivered to their homes.
Elderly patients who do not have proper nutrition have a higher risk of irregular heart rhythms and sepsis.
Riverside's Meals on Wheels program can always use your help. If you can volunteer or donate, you can visit our website and get more information how you can participate, and we thank you.
Do you have unneeded prescription medications and don't know what to do with them? CVS Pharmacy and the Riverside Police Department have a safe and secure drop box located inside the Magnolia Police Station. This free and anonymous service keeps dangerous prescriptions out of the hands of children and abusers while protecting the environment through proper disposal. Most over-the-counter and prescription medications are safe to drop off. However, there are some restrictions. Items such as thermometers, inhalers, aerosol cans, ointments, lotions or liquids, and needles and sharps must be disposed of elsewhere. And please, residential clients only. This service is not for businesses to dispose of their medical waste. Help the City of Riverside keep dangerous prescriptions out of the hands of children and abusers by disposing your unneeded drugs in a safe, secure, and environmentally friendly way.
Welcome back to the Riverside TV Game of the Week. It's the first game of the season pitting Hillcrest and Arlington. The Trojans got off to a flying start with that Payne connection to Howard, who wound up scrambling for a 7-yard touchdown, and Hillcrest led early 7-0. Arlington employed a heavy dose of the ground game, led by Ezekiel Valentine, number 6. This first drive was capped off by way of Taylor Damasio to tie the ball game at 7 between Arlington and Hillcrest, but the Lions continued to use a heavy dose of Damasio. The run game racked up nearly 200 yards in the first 2 quarters of this game. Damasio a gain of 65, then this Valentine touchdown to give Arlington the lead 14-7. Late in the first half, Hillcrest responded. Payne was great, as was the running back for Hillcrest, the Trojans, Bledsoe, as he rips off this long run, nearly for a touchdown. Then Payne, this may be the play of the half. He scrambles, evades 2 tackles, slips another. There's a 4th. Payne somehow gets out of the pressure and dishes this touchdown to Howard of Hillcrest. Extra point no good. And through 2 quarters, our score is 14-13 Lions.
And I will say that was one of the better halves we've seen in years. And 2 great programs. We're going to join J.R. Ibarra with the new head coach of Hillcrest, Travis Carter. J.R., go ahead.
Yes, here with Coach Travis Carter. Coach, how would you assess that first half?
A little sloppy for us on both sides. They had it going on offense. We just got to get back. We got to block and tackle right now. We're missing tackles. We're arm tackling. We're missing blocks, especially on the perimeter, just not being physical. We just got to be overall more physical both sides of the ball. Clean some stuff up.
Yeah, it seems like they were really pushing that football pretty good as far as the run.
Yeah, we definitely got to stop the run. I mean, that's number 1 objective, yeah.
All right, good luck to you guys.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll send it back up top.
Yeah, if you notice, both coaches mentioned the same thing. Missed tackles. Early in the season, you're going to have those issues. You just want to tighten it up going into league. Both teams playing a great, tough non-league schedule, but tonight is a gem so far.
Yeah, no, it's been very entertaining. And to just think that these 2 teams have an entire season to improve, to get their weightlifting regimen, to get those tackling practices in preparation for conference play. And, of course, what both of these teams not only hope for but are very capable of as CIF playoff berth. Hillcrest won a postseason game last year and came within 5 of knocking off the Bonita Bearcats in the 2nd round of the CIF postseason. And Arlington is just 2 years removed from a playoff berth themselves under former head coach Rich Lunsford. The Lions' current head coach Jeff Roney, we had talked to him earlier with excellent work from JR. The game plan throughout the offseason was to get that offensive line with more strength, with more girth, and power to push that defensive line, led by Hillcrest, but the other teams they'll play, and so far they did an outstanding job of that.
Yeah, they did. In fact, we talked about it, jokingly, 29.4 pounds they averaged as a team. And
who's doing that math?
That's pretty impressive when you have that many guys. But, yeah, what a great half for the Lions.
Conrado with a short kickoff on a bounce. It's taken at the 39-yard line. Return from Howard, who crosses the 50, and is spilled by Justice Robinson at the 49-yard line of Arlington. All right, that certainly bodes well for the Trojans. Excellent starting field position to set up the second half.
Yeah, and talking about, thinking about this game, let's think about next year. These 2 teams will be in the same league. Arlington is leaving their league to join the River Valley League. So a little preview of what is the future of the River Valley League.
Currently with Notre Vista, Ramona, Patriot, La Sierra, and Jurupa Valley. Are one of those teams bouncing off?
Jurupa Valley is leaving.
Okay.
Arlington comes in.
Payne designed run. The quarterback dances across the 50 and is taken down to the 44. Deshaun Bell makes the stop after a 5-yard gain. All right, Cameron Payne, as mentioned, 17 touchdown passes, 10 touchdown runs last year. The dual threat, now a junior quarterback for Hillcrest. He has been sensational the first half of this game. The one critical mistake, whether it was him or Howard, who was the intended target on that red zone pass late in the half, it was overthrown and intercepted, and that really changed the momentum of this game. Scrambling left is Payne, gets a good block. Excellent open field tackle by Brian Wright. The senior defensive back makes the stop, preventing a first down run for Payne.
Yeah, Cameron Payne, the quarterback. I'll tell you, he shows such great poise in the pocket. Both teams haven't turned the ball over. They've controlled it. They've made very few mistakes so far in this ball game, and that's attributed to these two very fine quarterbacks.
Snap to Payne on a 3rd down and short, and this gut run is close to the first down marker with a tackle from Samaje Cartwright, number 1. Run from Ryan Howard. I'm sorry, from Sean Bledsoe, rather. First down. He just gained enough. And now Anthony Correa, the 5'3", 115-pounder, is there as the running back alongside Cameron Payne. 2 receivers each side. 4th snap of this drive at the 39 of the Lions. Correa runs, scampers to the left, turns the corner at the 35-yard line, and is escorted out by Rideout at the 32. Joined by Dustin Wagner. All right, the Trojans have given Arlington a taste of their own medicine here to begin the 3rd quarter with 4 straight runs. Correa flanks Payne in the backfield. 2nd and short, inside run Correa. He squirts over the left guard and crawls in space to the 26-yard line. 6-yard run. First down, Hillcrest.
Smash mouth football at its finest. This second half could be very, very quick. Let's talk about the upcoming schedule here on Riverside TV next week. The 30th, we're going to have King versus Great Oak at King High School.
All right, Correa gets a good run here and motors to about the 17, 18-yard line. Pickup of 13, but go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, we've got a great slew of games this upcoming season. We also mentioned we're going to be covering RCC football on 5 Saturdays. So Riverside TV pulling out all the stops. We're going to have 21 games in the next 3 months.
Are you ready?
I'm always ready. I was born ready.
All right. So the next one is King High School next week?
Next Friday night versus Great Oak.
All right, make sure to join us on Riverside TV Game of the Week. It's the first of 21 games. Nick Grash, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra for all the coverage of that and so much more here on Riverside TV. Arlington early 3rd quarter leads 14-13. Trojans had a good mix of run and pass in the first 2 quarters, and to the credit of their head coach, Travis Carter, they scrapped the game plan. Forget about that balance. We're going ground every play. They've gone 5 straight runs to open up the second half.
And I'll tell you, if you can eat the clock, you get the lead, you play this smart football, it's a chess game. It will be whoever doesn't turn it over playing this kind of smash mouth football.
Yeah. Lions do go up against a 4-receiver set after the timeout from Jeff Roney. A 2.5-minute long drive taken out the locker room by Hillcrest. High snap, Correa runs, bowls over a tackler at the 15-yard line. He is yanked down. The tackle from Cartwright at the 6 of the Lions. 1st and goal. Anthony Correa, he has been an absolute force between the tackles today. And on a 2nd down, one of those preseason type penalties. The offensive line jumped with no snap yet. False start.
We have another score update. Notre Dame 7, Xavier Prep 3 at half. And King and Temescal Canyon still scoreless in the second half.
Wow. We'll have King next week. We'll see if they can get off to a better start offensively as Payne is taken down. The pass rush by way of Conrad Farley. It's a 1-yard loss.
Dustin Wagner.
And Wagner was in there too.
Yeah, very quick.
And that was just with a 4-man rush. 3rd down and 11, long 11 for Hillcrest. The Trojans started this drive with a 49-yard line. They've taken advantage of the short field. Payne looks left, scrambles right as he sees nothing there, directs traffic, fires into the end zone. Incomplete.
Looks like the referees are going to talk about this. Looks like the ref from behind the back judge thought he was out of bounds. I think they're going to overturn this. I think it's going to be a touchdown because they had that on the. There it goes. There's the replay. And after meeting, they did call the touchdown. He was inbounds.
Touchdown Hillcrest.
Good call by the back judge as he was on the baseline of the end zone.
All right, the Trojans have reclaimed the lead. And after a strong push on that red zone try by the Lions pass rush, they just could not seem. Now, they did get mitts on Cameron Payne, but they couldn't seem to drag him down. And the Trojans come back down 7 to take a 20-14 lead here early in the third quarter.
Yeah, talking about Cameron Payne, I think he is better when he is rushed. We've seen him rush tonight. He is so
poised.
Yeah, he's just poised, but he can run and throw. So athletic, makes great decisions, and under pressure, great throw in the end zone. As we look at the crazy fans, what would you call the Lions Den? That's a pretty good.
Hey, that was real good.
A pride of lions.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
You have a pride of lions, and if you
pride
had,
of lions,
if you had a
flock of geese,
a flock, or a gaggle, you can have a gaggle.
Really, you can have a gaggle of geese.
A gaggle of geese.
Herd of cattle, right?
Yeah, what do you call a bunch of Trojans? Trojans, just tough guys. Tough guys with helmets and swords. But look at that. Look at the student section. Arlington coming alive here. I love it.
Hey, you want to know what you call the Trojans? Fighters.
Yeah, definitely warriors.
Yeah, that's right. Short return out to the 30-yard line here early in the third quarter. The Lions, through the first half, had dominated time of possession, led by their excellent duo of running backs in Ezekiel Valentine and Taylor Damasio. Now, midway through the second quarter, Damasio, their fullback, was shaken up by a tackle from Rodriguez. He did return, but was less than the sharp self he was in the early stages of this game. We'll see how that continues throughout the second half. But Arlington employed a heavy dose of the ground game. Trojans opened up the third quarter with a 49-yard touchdown drive, capped off by a scoring toss from Cameron Payne. And now down 6, Damasio takes the fullback handoff and is wrapped up quickly by Manny Robert, number 9. He has been very involved in the tackling department tonight for Hillcrest. It's a pickup of 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, we saw Manny Robert run the man down.
Yes.
7 yards behind. Thought it was a touchdown, but no. Robert took him from behind, brought him down.
Yeah, a 65-yard run there in the second quarter. 2nd and 5. High formation. Damasio and Valentine are in the backfield. Luda fumbles and falls on it. Loss of 6. That looks like week 0.
Definitely a week 0.
Yeah.
I don't understand the week 0. Just call it week 1 and
Yeah.
go 11 weeks. You got to have an integer. 0. Come on.
I'm with you. The injured party for Arlington is number 71, the senior Jonathan Medina. And now he is down. He joins Alejandro Conrado as 2 offensive linemen who have been on the wrong end of some foots from Hillcrest. He took a foot right into the Achilles there, and he is wincing in pain. There was 7:13 to go in the third quarter.
See, when I played, I would just take a dive like that just so I could get a rest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's first game. They're tired.
I mean, it's just part of the game. If you're allowed to do it, then do it, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. But a great crowd here at the district stadium at Ramona High School.
Now, Hillcrest head coach Travis Carter, he's got some big shoes to fill. He takes over for John Brandom, who guided Hillcrest to a league title and an 8-4 record in 2018, just last year. And he had a winning record all 4 years with the Trojans, a team in Hillcrest that shut out Rubidoux to open up the CIF Southern Section playoffs last year. Travis Carter takes over for a head coach who was very successful.
I'll tell you what, he's successful and he's scary. I grew up with John Brandom, and the best way to describe him is, if we could look over to the far sideline over there, John Brandom's the largest man over there, and I say this.
No way.
Yeah,
Let me see.
He's giant over there. He's the big giant guy.
Oh, hey there. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a big man. I'll tell you what, though. If he had the gauntlet and he flicked his fingers, I'd be worried that you'd disappear, because that man over there looks just like Thanos. Are you an Avengers fan?
I'm familiar.
How do you not know who Thanos is, or Thanos? Come on, man. How can you not know the Avengers? But, yeah, John Brandom is Thanos. Just make sure he's not wearing that Infinity Gauntlet.
With the play action, Luda's hit as he throws and fires incomplete. It's because I know so much about the Riverside football teams. Just don't have any time for the Avengers.
What are you kidding? Come on, man. You're the only guy in the entire world that you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Yeah, probably not. I'm probably the only guy.
If he flicks his fingers, and
there he
make
is.
Sure he's not wearing. There he is. He's look at Thanos over there. Talking to John Finn, the athletic director at Hillcrest, but no. If he's wearing that glove, it looks like he might be wearing the gauntlet. If he flicks that finger, I'm going to be alone in the booth. You are just going to be ashes, and half the people here. How do you not know what I'm talking about?
Well, now I do.
Oh, man.
That's why you're here, to help me out.
Man, you're just a kid.
Man, I need too much help, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, here is the punt from Isaac Conrado. And that punt is taken on a bounce. On the return left is Xavier Bell. Banks, rather. And he is wrapped up just short of the 45. Well, size or not, John Brandom really put this program in some heights that really makes for a tough contest, Arlington, next year when they join this league.
See, I like John Brandom, but he is a Riverside Poly guy, and I'm a Ramona Ram, so we're natural-born enemies. But now that we've been out of high school for 30-plus years,
you can
we can bury the hatchet and be pals. Right. But a great coach at Corona High School for a number of years, was over at Santiago, and then finished his coaching career at Hillcrest.
Payne runs and dances across the 50-yard line. The quarterback continues an excellent rushing performance today. That's an 8-yard scamper. Cameron Payne, he was great last year against this team, where he accounted for over 200 all-purpose yards in the 28-20 win a season ago. Here they lead 20-14 midway through the third quarter. Cartwright threatens blitz. He'll step back. Payne hands. Howard slips through a tackle, heads to his left. He gets a downfield block from his quarterback and is wrestled out by Rideouts inside the 35-yard line.
As we're seeing bodies kind of hitting the ground here in the second half, I'm guessing we're getting some cramps. You know, it's still pretty warm. That's a pretty nice, cool evening, but first game of the year, still 100 degrees during the day. Guys are going to be cramping up as we see the fantastic training staff of Arlington running over trying to take care of one of the players.
You look at the replay there. There were 2 opportunities for Arlington to wrap them up in the backfield. Bledsoe wound up moving the chains there. If this were conference play or headed to the postseason, I'm sure with that experience that they would have a better opportunity to kind of make that tackle. I mean, you playing football as well in high school and beyond, you know that, I mean, there's really very little tackling opportunities in the preseason in training for the first game.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is that the game has changed so much in the last, 10 years. Coaches are now teaching players how to tackle properly. If we go 10 years ago, guys are taking, heads off. But game 1 to game 3, usually you know, you've got to fine-tune your defense. You've got to fine-tune your tackling, and you are going to see missed tackles. We saw several in the first half, several in the first series for that matter. But as you see, guys are going down with cramps all over the field, and that's just first-game jitters.
Yep. There's Xavier Rideout. The linebacker for Arlington, number 42, Xavier Rideout. And the linebacker for Hillcrest, number 9, Manny Robert. Those have been the two tackling machines so far through 2.5 quarters for their respective sides. First down and 10. Play action to Correa, and Payne is taken down. Correa's back in there, flanking Cameron Payne. Hillcrest is in plus territory, up by 6. Payne runs, sprints past the first level, and the now exhausted defense of Arlington wraps him up just short of the 20-yard line. Brian Wright brings him down, in fact, at the 17.
And you could see the fatigue setting in a little bit with that Arlington front line. Hillcrest really trying to take advantage, going no huddle.
Correa squirts over the left guard. And the 5'3", 315-pounder is taken out of the 12. Now Hillcrest has taken advantage of 2 short fields to start their third quarter drives. And now have advanced into the red zone. The Trojans have scored touchdowns on all of their red zone trips but one so far today. That was a Payne interception to Deshaun Mercadell of Arlington.
And a 5-yard penalty there.
All right, the Lions got off to that flying start, but Hillcrest quarterback Cameron Payne kept them in the game with a couple scoring drives in the first half. And really, I would say the important part of the first quarter, that fourth down conversion, that was to Ryan Howard on the long pass play. That really kept them in the game. If Arlington made the stop, they could have had a chance to really take control of that first quarter.
They did. They definitely a very key part of that first quarter, but I think Coach Roney called timeout just because of the fitness of his guys. I really think, you know, it's the first game. They're tired. Hillcrest has the momentum. They're showing their athleticism. They're going no huddle offense. I think this is a great timeout by Coach Roney to kind of get his guys back in order, kind of get them mellow here.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, Hillcrest is coming out, no huddle, playing on all cylinders right now.
Well, Arlington continues to be battle-tested in the near future. 4 of their next 5 games are on the road, beginning Friday with a visit to Palm Desert to take on the Xavier Prep Saints. And that's all before conference play, where they compete in the tough Sun Belt. Snap to Payne, off play action to Correa. He scampers to the left. Touchdown, Hillcrest. Payne has scored 3 consecutive touchdowns. That's a 7-yard scamper. The Trojans have taken a 2-score lead.
And like I said, I think fatigue is set in for that defensive line of Arlington. I mean, both teams pounded it in that first half. You got to figure somebody had to get tired, and right now it looks like Arlington is suffering on the other end of this one.
Off the hold from Johnny Rivera, Mason Hutton checks in for the field goal. Hutton has it up, and it's no good again. He missed it twice to the left now. He is 2 for 4 on PATs. Trojans lead 26-14.
I think he might go for 2 next time.
Cameron Payne has been sensational. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra. Just a junior. And now Arlington, this is the tough spot that they're in. The Lions had established the momentum running the ball. The receivers and the quarterbacks didn't have much opportunities in the first half to establish some sort of chemistry and continuity in the passing game. Now they're almost forced with a short clock here to figure out that passing attack.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, I'll tell you. We've seen the momentum definitely shift in Hillcrest, the Trojans' direction here. Let's see if Arlington can counter here, try to get back in this ball game.
Mason Hutton teed up the ball at the 40-yard line. That's the high school spot for the kickoffs. He approaches and swings the right leg. Taken at the 12. Return from Brian Wright. Out of bounds at the 26.
It looked like the sideline of Arlington wanted a late hit, but I think the Hillcrest tackler there was just trying to keep himself from falling on his face.
Yeah. Xavier Banks. There's another look at him. He's a receiver. He can run the ball. He can return punts and kicks. And here he is making special teams tackles. I mean, that's one of those players where if you're a coaching staff, you just love the versatility of that type of guy. He never gets off the field. Or almost never.
He is a workhorse. Brings his lunchbox to every game.
Yep. Fullback dive to Taylor Damasio. And he not only surges for 6 yards, he dives for that extra yard. That's another type of play, if you're a coaching staff, I'm sure they would love, until he stretches the ball out, risking a fumble.
I believe we're going to get an interview with former head coach John Brandon at the conclusion of this quarter.
Oh, I would love that.
We get to hear what Thanos has to say over there.
2nd and 4. And Valentine takes a tumble. Excellent push up front by that Hillcrest defensive line, led by number 23, Nathan Bradall. My homework assignment tonight is to watch some Avengers.
Hey, you'll have tonight. You have to watch it all weekend. There's like 30 movies.
30?
There's a bunch of them. You got to watch them all in order.
What?
And that's your homework assignment, young man, for this week. You got to start with the first movie and go all the way through, and then I'm going to quiz you next week.
I don't even think there's enough time in a week for that.
Unless you're a doctor, you got plenty of time, my friend.
No truer words spoken. That's a first down run for a Valentine. Is it really that good?
Yes, fantastic.
Wow.
But see, I have little kids. You have no children. I have three boys, and that's all they talk about is the Avengers. So I'm kind of forced, and then my wife forced as well. So you're kind of like my wife.
I'm not sure if I agree with that.
No. You're good looking, but you're not that good looking.
No, you know what? Yeah, that's right. I mean, then again, you haven't seen your wife in what has it been now, 7.5 years?
Oh, yeah. I work too many games.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's plenty of room here to pull up a sleeping bag and a pillow or something.
Are you kidding me? I have a palatial estate. I got to go home to my family.
Works for me. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and watch some Avengers tonight.
I want you to. It's on your list, young Padawan.
Yeah, make sure to come back next week when I give you my impressions of that years-old film. Ludolph play action is pressured on this 2nd down. He'll take off and dives towards the marker. He got a good block as well. Anthony Gonzalez sprung him loose. The chains currently signify first down. I don't think we're quite there yet. I believe it's 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. Devin Johnson and Justice Robinson are the two receivers. Arlington goes I formation. Fullback dive to the spinning Damasio. Incredible display of power and will to plunge to the 42-yard line.
That was rugby. That was a scrum, my friend.
Yeah. Even the public address announcer is amazed at that run, and I don't blame him. And now yet again, Alejandro Conrado, unfortunately for Arlington, seeks the attention of the Lions training staff with 2:16 to go in the third quarter. As for Hillcrest, they return to Riverside next Friday in a road contest against defending Sun Belt champion Notre Dame. So that should be an incredible matchup. Titans were 9-3 last year. The Trojans were 8-4 a season ago. We'll get a chance to look at Hillcrest in a couple weeks when they host Notre Vista. And Hillcrest looks every bit a team that could repeat.
Another Arlington player going down.
It's the same guy who got his leg chopped under, his Achilles in the first quarter, Alejandro Conrado. And you just hope that he ends up being okay. Because while these games matter, I'm sure for a coaching staff, they'd rather take, if they're going to take some lumps and some losses, they'd rather have it now.
Yes, very much so.
This conference play begins in about a month for Hillcrest and Arlington and many of the CIF Southern Section teams that are just underway tonight. Luda turns, hands to Valentine, who searches for a hole and squeezes through to the 35-yard line. The tackle from Gabriel Dominguez of Hillcrest.
A fine first game here on Riverside TV. We look forward to all season long. You join us on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And a few Saturdays for some college football.
Yeah, make sure to stick around. Yeah, for Hillcrest, they should be encouraged by the excellent linebacker play of both Gabriel Dominguez and Manny Robert. They have played very well in the opening game of the season. The run to Valentine loses yardage. That time, Aiden McHale makes the stop. The junior, with just 4 tackles last year, steps in and makes an important play on second down. Number 28. And I'm sure the running in the first half from Valentine and from Damasio may exhaust them too. I mean, they have been bell cows today.
Yeah, and it's really tough. The first game you were running so many running plays. You know, the adrenaline flows through you. You're gonna get tired. I don't care how great of an athlete, how your fitness is, you're gonna get tired.
Luda and the Lions go ground again, and Damasio gains a couple. 4th down and 4 from the 36-yard line. Do you go for it here? Now you have a third quarter break to think about it.
You know, I think you have to. You know, you're down 2 touchdowns. You got to go for it. I think they will, but I think they're going to let this clock run out.
You know what? Maybe we should ask John Brandom. Do you think we should ask him?
No.
No? Oh, okay. No. He's done.
No, yeah,
he's done.
Retired.
He's done enough of that.
He is retired, but we are going to hear from him in just a minute.
They may go for it first.
Let's see if they do.
Probably not. Yet the Lions are set for a 4th and 4 when we come back. Through 3 quarters, Hillcrest comes back down 6. They score 3 unanswered touchdowns and take a 26-14 lead over the Arlington Lions. 4th quarter action coming up next. This is Riverside TV's Game of the Week. First, no, let's send it down to the field. J.R. Ibarra has caught up with former Hillcrest head coach John Brandom. J.R.?
Yeah, we're used to seeing him on the sidelines, but not quite like this. John Brandom, it's good to see you out here. Looks like you're very relaxed for a Friday night.
Yeah, no, it excites me to see these guys playing so hard. You know, I'm in neutral clothing, and I got no purple or no, the crimson or whatever. And these guys are doing a great job. The coach is doing a great job. I've stayed in contact with them quite a bit over the summer, and this and that. So their struggles, I know about, and this and that. So it's kind of interesting. You know, sometimes in my situation, you would kind of like not know what the heck's going on and this and that, but I kind of have a decent insight, and these guys are doing a great job, and I'm just fired up to see that.
Now, essentially, you kind of groomed Travis Carter because he was on your staff since 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came in, and I actually tried to hire him the year before, and he came in and the year later and did a great job coaching our quarterbacks. and he ended up being my assistant head coach and a lot with the offense, this and that. He's got it. Like Travis has got it. He's going to be a great head coach, and it's going to be fun watching him progress.
Real quickly, because we're going back to action, going back to coaching at all Sunday, or is it completely done?
No. I don't know to what capacity. I think I'm going to end up going to college or JC down the road, kind of getting a different clientele per se. It's tough sometimes when you're in the high school or the public education, and there's just a lot of snowflakes, I guess you'd say, and I'm tired of the snowflakes. So on the next level, I won't have to worry about that so much. But I will coach again, though.
All right, Coach, great to see you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, guys, we'll send it back up your way.
All right.
Well, you heard it here first. John Branham, the excellent head coach. What were your reactions to what he said?
I was just worried he was going to flick his fingers and make us all, half of us disappear. No, he's one of those guys. He's a lifer. He wants to coach.
Yeah.
I think he just needed a break. And I think, like he said, the college game is probably going to be great suited for a man, because I'm sure he's going to retire soon. His son's still playing college football. I think down the line he'll be back.
Hillcrest takes over with the 1st and 10. Cameron Payne scampers to the 40-yard line. And sometimes, you see coaches and players all the time, they're almost rejuvenated after a break.
Yeah, sometimes it does. Brandon's been coaching for a long time, and it's one of those things, like I said, he gets to watch his son play college football. He needs to re-energize, and just maybe in a different place, different setting.
Correa on 2nd down heads to his right and gains 2 with the flag thrown. One of the greatest examples of that is Dick Vermeil, who is a great coach, took a couple years off, returns and wins a Super Bowl for the Rams.
And Dick Vermeil, when he was first started out, came in and he was fiery, he was crazy. I'm going to just say he was nuts. And then came back, after a 25-year absence to come back and coach, and he was a different guy. He really went with the times. He was an old school coach, became a new school coach, put in the greatest team on turf with that Marshall
greatest show on turf. Yeah, I think the greatest offense ever.
Fantastic, and just kind of evolved with the times.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see John Branham evolve.
Yeah, greatest show on turf as well. We were playing on turf tonight. Payne looks like he's the only one playing on turf. He is running these 40-yard dashes past some of these lines. Incredible display of athleticism for the junior quarterback. That time he runs for 5, setting up a 3rd down and 7.
And just like that, it's a wildcat setting. He's able to kind of run off tackle, off guard there.
That's not our cameras. He's blurry because he's just that fast. 3rd down and long. Payne looks, unloads, deep over the middle, tipped, and the pass is in. It's caught. Off the deflection, Xavier Banks reels it in. Excellent effort to track the football off the bounce.
Yeah, in fact, we'll see here on number 50, gets his hands on it, but you got to bat that ball down. If you're not going to grab it, you got to hit it away. Can't give him an opportunity. And just like that, the tip right into the hands of the receiver, Xavier Banks.
Yeah, it was a close catch. He did reel it in. Xavier Banks continues his great performance today to put Hillcrest in a position to what might just be an early knockout punch if they can push this into the end zone with 10:08 to play in the game. Trojans lead by 12, just outside the red zone. Helmet high snap to Payne, off play action, heads left. And he takes a tumble to the 17, pickup of 4. Deshaun Mercadell was on the Arlington tackle. False start.
Jaden Kanizer coming out of the ball game, limping a little bit. The 300-plus pound right tackle. As we take a look at the student body of the Lions Den, great crowd here on hand at the
great crowd
Riverside Stadium here.
With plenty on the other side as well. Those are the visitors, or I guess maybe some of the home, quote-unquote home. This is a neutral site, correct, Ramona?
Yeah, well, Arlington doesn't have a field, so they share it with Ramona.
It's a quote-unquote home game then for Arlington?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, fair enough. Certainly looks like it. Bledsoe lost the ball. The Lions take over. On a halfback draw, Bledsoe headed right, but lost the handle on the quarterback exchange. We'll take a second look at it. Cameron Payne and Bledsoe just slipped out of his grasp. Mercadell jarred it loose, and then he was in the perfect position to recover, Jeff.
Great plays, great second effort there defensively, and to be alert enough to get the ball there. Arlington, big play.
The fumble from Sean Bledsoe was a call from the governor, per se, giving them an extra shot here, down by 12. And also an opportunity to wipe out a chance for a 3-score lead for Hillcrest. Luda hands off. Valentine continues what has been a hard effort in this football game. As a physical run for Valentine gains a long 5 yards, about 6 yards on first down.
Well, the Lions are going to have to do something fairly quick here.
Yeah. Do you continue to dedicate the heavy ground game in the first half?
You do to a point because you're only down 12. So, you know, you do want to try to gain some momentum here. But keep it on the ground. Keep that defense close and maybe throw a pass over the top, over the sideline here. Try to get that secondary honest here.
Well, it was clear from the start Arlington had a game plan to feature the ground game. Taylor Damasio and Ezekiel Valentine each scored first half touchdowns, and the Lions led by as much as 7 and 14-13 at the half. The Trojans quarterback Cameron Payne did a good job showing poise, passing the ball in the first quarter. He converted a 4th down with a long ball to Ryan Howard, continued his excellence in passing in the second half, accounting for 3 touchdowns, including 1 on the ground, to allow Hillcrest coming back down by as much as 7. They lead 26-14 and appeared on their way to a very important touchdown here just outside the red zone a moment ago, but their running back Sean Bledsoe lost the fumble, recovered by Deshaun Mercadell, and now the Lions, early fourth quarter, have the football down by 12.
Yeah, it has been the Cameron Payne show for the Trojans, as another timeout is called here, this time by the Trojans. It would be a quick game, but everybody's calling timeouts.
Now you wonder if those timeouts will come back to hurt you later in the football game, when you need those to preserve time.
And once again, next week, we're going to have King Great Oak at King.
Great Oak out of the Southwest League.
They were 1-9 last year. Their only win came against King.
Yeah. Now that's something. And then Ramona and Fontana's after that the following week.
And then we get RCC versus El Camino. That will be fun, calling the first game for Riverside TV and RCC.
I mean, with all these football games, it just appears like it's college football in the making. I mean, all these names that you hear right now, these are guys that you will hear of again, quite a few of them at least, in Division I athletics in the future. I certainly know that for RCC, but also some of these high schools. In speaking to these head coaches, they know that these players, this isn't it for quite a few of them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we're going to have some great ones. We've got Orange Vista, who's ranked number 1 in their division. We'll have them later on in the season versus John W. North. We're going to have Norte Vista, who I think will win the Division 10 CIF championship this year. And Norco, we will see as well. Jake Illingsworth, one of the better quarterbacks in the nation. We'll get to watch him play. Very, very exciting football. We also have the Holy War on the 20th of next month. That is Notre Dame and Aquinas. That is always a great one. In fact, the winner of that gets a shield, and they get to keep it all year long. The Holy War, one of the best local rivalries here in the Inland Empire.
No disagreement here.
Yeah, they do. They play for a shield, and they take that shield, and every time they play each other, there's somebody holds a shield in the bleachers. It's a fantastic thing they do every year. They've done it for centuries. Centuries, my friend.
Back to the Avenger days, huh?
Oh, I'm telling you, man. Those Catholic schools, they've been around forever.
Third down, Luda off play action. He is quickly smothered in the backfield. Wrapped up from Armando Sosa. It's his second tackle for loss today. That on Isaac Luda, forcing a 4th down and long. By the time Luda attempted either a pass or a read option run, he had already been hit by Sosa. 4th and 7. This could be the clincher if Hillcrest makes the stop.
Yeah,
could be. Go ahead.
The clock is going to continue to run, Nick, and I'll tell you what, they've got to convert right here.
Luda gets rid of it. High, incomplete, intended for Devin Johnson. Good coverage downfield by Devin Mesa of Hillcrest. Turnover on downs for the Arlington Lions. They could not take advantage of the Mercedell fumble recovery.
Look right here.
Sosa yet again collapsed the pocket, number 52.
Just out of the reach.
I mean, Armando Sosa, yes, he only has 1 sack today, but, I mean, he has just really wreaked havoc on the Arlington offensive line. I'm sure Luda would agree. From the 25-yard line. Stop the action here. 7:10 to go in the 4th quarter. If the Lions do not make a stop preserving points on this possession, then that just may be the important clinching drive for them. We'll see. Trojans up 26-14 here with 7:10 to go in the game. Lions still have a good shot at it here at the moment. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, J.R. Ibarra here in the city of Riverside. Riverside TV Game of the Week between Arlington and Hillcrest.
And right now, an update. Temescal Canyon up 6-0 over King with 3:15 in the 4th quarter.
And a reminder, yesterday, Nota Vista won 28-14 over Paloma Valley out of the River Valley Conference.
I'll tell you what, Nota Vista looked better than they have in years, and we're going to go back 3 seasons ago when they had the leading rusher in the country, and they've just continued to get those backs. They've had Freddie Hawley, who's, like I said, the starting running back at University of Hawaii. They've got his younger brother. They're going to be something special this year.
Looks like a false start was committed by Xavier Banks of Hillcrest.
In fact, we will see Nota Vista as they will play Hillcrest on October 11th.
That should be a great game.
And then the following week, we're going to have Nota Vista on the 18th versus their big rival, La Sierra. So we will have those games later on this upcoming season on Riverside TV.
Awesome. 2nd down and 8 here midway through the 4th quarter. Hillcrest looking to take advantage of the turnover on downs suffered by the Lions just a moment ago. False start is yet again committed, 2nd in a row by the Hillcrest Trojans. Even though Arlington is behind by more than what they were in their 28-20 loss last year, you have to be encouraged about the team that's making significant strides going into 2019.
Oh, a much better team for sure. This team will not go winless this year. Coach Roney has them going in the right direction.
Payne downfield, tipped away from Banks, incomplete. Good coverage by the linebacker, Deshaun Bell. The senior records the deflection, forcing 3rd down and 13.
Yeah, great defensive effort there by the Lions.
Xavier Banks will head over to the left, joined by the wide receivers Ryan Howard and Johnny Rivera. On 3rd down and 13, Anthony Correa is in the backfield for the Trojans. High snap to Payne. Pass rush is coming. He's hit as he throws. And the pass is reeled in. Leaping catch towards the right sideline. Short of the 1st down marker. Brian Wright made the tackle there on the hitch route right. Cameron Payne, that's the type of play, it won't go down to the stat sheet. To be able to feel the pressure coming from your backside is critical for a quarterback.
And he has been phenomenal at that all night long. Great on the run.
He wasn't even looking at the pressure from the linebacker. After a timeout is called by Hillcrest, the Trojans have won, as do the Lions right now, with 5:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Now none for Hillcrest.
Yeah, definitely a different half than the first half. They were very aggressive. Now guys are looking a little tired. The referees even look a little tired out there.
Right. I mean, it's a good game for them considering it's their first. It's really like a dress rehearsal out there.
Yeah. But no, a very good game tonight. And we've got some great ones this upcoming season. Looking forward to going to all the stadiums as we look around here at the beautiful spectacle of the Riverside District Stadium at Ramona High School here. A beautiful night for football. So you got a great camera angle there.
Yeah, have fun with your one night here without a coat. In about a week or two, these nights will be super chilly.
Yeah, we were here last year calling the game, and we had to call the game because it rained and there was lightning.
Really?
And the entire Riverside TV staff was covering cameras.
It was this game, Hillcrest and Arlington?
No,
okay, I was going to say.
Game at the end of the year, we all ran out of here. The game was called. It was an amazing sight. But I got to go home early and watch some good TV. But yeah, it was a nightmare to be here watching all these guys scurry to cover the cameras.
Yeah. Now, kudos to the Lions. I mean, they certainly deserve credit. Their defense does. The last drive, Hillcrest inched to the red zone. Deshaun Mercedel recovered a fumble. The next drive, Lions are pinned deep. Part of it is these false starts by Hillcrest, 3 on this drive, but the Lions are preventing any sort of positive yardage here down the stretch of this Trojans drive. If they make a stop, that gives their offense one more chance. Here's a 4th down. Payne fires a deep slant, and the pass is knocked away by Bell. 2 deflections by the senior linebacker on this drive, Deshaun Bell, and the Lions will take over with 5:40 to go in the game.
Taking over pretty much in the same spot they had last time. Let's see if they can capitalize here with time running out.
Now, Payne had the time to get rid of it. Deshaun Bell did a good job, as we see here. Number 11 really giving him no opportunity. Number 44, rather, Brian Wright was the first one there. Bell converged late. Well, that gives the Lions one more shot at it here. Midway through the fourth quarter, down 2 scores. As Arlington starts at their own 27, they have gotten heavy ground in this game. They'll continue with that game plan. And with a 4-yard run from Taylor Damasio, the clock runs under 5:32 in the fourth quarter.
Short gain on that play.
J.O. Bailey made the stop, number 12. Lions are letting the time slip away here. 5:10 to go in the fourth quarter. If they score quickly, it should be noted they have just 1 timeout to go, so they really don't have too many opportunities to stop the clock. With a deep drop, this crossing pattern intended for Bell is knocked away and incomplete. Deflection from Bernal downfield, joined by Gabriel Dominguez.
Good passed ball here, just maybe thrown a little too hard there.
Clock does stop, which does help the Lions with 4:57 to go in the fourth quarter. The Lions were very efficient in the first half on 3rd downs. They have struggled in the second half in that department, and they falter yet again. 3rd and 7, it's a run of 5 yards for Ezekiel Valentine, the highly touted running back for Arlington. 4th and short is coming up. Lions are up on the ball quickly. Valentine was a shoestring tackle away from what looked to be a 1st down run. Timeout called by Hillcrest. Okay. as the Trojans lead by 12.
Get a look at that sideline.
So the coaching staff will have to win or loss for Arlington, go back at this game and look at the tape. What would you take away from this game?
Well, if I'm Arlington, I take away, we've changed the way we play. There was opportunities for them to win tonight. They played a great first half of football. If you could take away anything, you won the first half. You looked a little tired in the second half, but you stuck with the game plan. I appreciate when coaches say they're going to do something and they stick with it. They didn't deviate from his program. He was going to run the ball. He ran it, and I'll tell you what, they're going to get better. If we see this Arlington team week 0 and we see them in week 5, they're going to be a completely different team. I think Coach Roney has them going in the right direction, and I think they can hang their hat on that they took care of the first half. Those are small victories, but they're not the game victories, but they're victories that will help this program succeed.
4th and 2. Lions are in a pivotal down and distance here. A stop for Hillcrest would be integral for them in trying to secure this win. Arlington goes ground. Valentine surges near the first down marker. And he's close. He takes a tumble at the 37-yard line. Tackle from Gabriel Dominguez. It appears that he just gained enough. Yes, he did. Physical run for Ezekiel Valentine. There's no holdout for this Zeke. And he lowered his shoulder, a physical run. And now he will be spelled by Damasio, number 10. Or if I were the Lions, I would certainly be thinking about maybe hurrying things up here. Valentine dots the I. First down and 10. Off play action. Luda scrambles left. He's hit as he throws and fires incomplete. That does stop the clock with 3:49 left.
Yeah, if you don't get something, you're going to have to run a hurry-up offense here. You got to get some urgency. You got to score. You got to go onside kick.
It seems Isaiah Luda that time didn't have too much of an opportunity to throw downfield. Excellent pass rush was delivered by way of Armando Sosa yet again.
Yeah, we've said his name quite a bit tonight.
Yeah. 2nd down and 10. Straight ahead handoff to Valentine. He's down to the 44. Tackle from Luis Maldonado. Third down and 4 now with 3:27 to go in the fourth quarter for a Lions club that's run the ball over 80% of their offensive snaps today. Luda with a fullback dive. The handoff is to Taylor Damasio. 6-yard run. First down, Lions. This is the type of run game that can really win you some games in the Sunset League. Or Sun Belt League, rather.
Yeah, they're split up into it's a super conference. 3 conferences. They're in the middle tier. But they have to cross-play each other against the top tier of the league and the lower tier. It's a tough, tough conference.
Arlington's got a tough run game that will certainly compete in those conferences. Under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Luga juggles it, does reel it in, and takes off across the 45. And he may have gotten the first down there as he's tripped up with a 40 by Sosa. Indeed, clock stops momentarily. Isaiah Luda is driving this Lions club down the field. You wonder if he's taking too much time, but he certainly is moving the chains. First and 10, Luda with a deep drop, scans the field. He's pressured and throws short. Bell juggles it, incomplete.
That's a couple times tonight that Bell's had his fingertips on the ball, just hadn't pulled it in.
Good initial pass protection by way of the line before Luda had it break down after a few seconds. All right, Deshaun Bell has also had a good performance considering the amount of snaps he has taken offensively and defensively to begin the season. 2nd down and 10, 5-step drop Luda, rolls right, throws short. Incomplete, intended target Dustin Wagner.
This play right here, this next down, could really seal the game for Hillcrest or prolong it here.
Yeah.
It just comes down to this play, really.
Chains say 3rd and 10. Is it 3rd or 4th?
It's third and 10. But
yeah, 3rd and 10. Snap. Luda stumbles and falls. 1-yard loss. A convoy of Trojans record the tackle. Sosa was there, joined by Bailey. And the other one there was number 23, Nathan Bernal. Arlington has about 2 minutes left to go. They would be forced to attempt an onside kick if they, with enough time left, if the Lions do score a touchdown here. 4th down and 11 for the Lions with under 2 minutes to go in this football game. Against the rush of Bernal. He somehow gets out of it momentarily, but Isaiah Luda is sacked, and this game is all but over.
Yeah, great second half by the Trojans. Good call by Coach Carter here in the second half. Great adjustments. Arlington almost near perfect first half versus this great Trojan team, but they looked a little tired here in the second half, a little worn out with that running game. Both teams played very well, but like you said, I think this is going to do it. I think the Hillcrest Trojans are going to walk away with the victory here in week 0.
Anthony Correa runs and gains 3. To the Lions' credit, they got off to that fast start. The run game is powerful. That certainly should be their strength going into conference play. But when Arlington, down by 2 possessions, was forced to pass, that sort of predictability made it tough for them to get the deep throws.
Yes, it did. And I'll tell you what, this Arlington team is not going to go 0-10 this season. Coach Roney, like I said, has them going in the right direction. A much better team tonight than I saw in week 10 last year with Arlington. So much, much better. The future's bright with these guys this season.
Now the experience is there. Our head coach Jeff Roney said that of their starters, 17 to 22 are seniors. And we saw some of those veterans make huge plays tonight. And some of the biggest plays was made by the running back Ezekiel Valentine, who was the first player he mentioned, and he would be the first player I would mention too. That man was sensational tonight despite a loss. Meanwhile, for the Trojans, they were led by their incredible quarterback in Cameron Payne, who was great as well.
Yeah, Coach Travis Carter in his head coaching debut.
That's right.
With a victory as Hillcrest continues their dominance here in Riverside. One of the better teams, was the best team last year in the city of Riverside. They continue to do well. A good victory.
So this game was, from the start for the Lions, a game plan Arlington used to establish a lead. 14-7 at one point in the second quarter, the Lions had by way of an incredible ground game. The two teams come out of the huddles, and for Hillcrest, they came out firing with their quarterback, Cameron Payne. Sean Howard scores this touchdown run for the Trojans, the lead 7-0. But Arlington came back led by their dual threat at running back. Ezekiel Valentine begins this drive. Then the scoring effort to tie the game was by Taylor Damasio, who's turned in an incredible performance with over 100 yards rushing. We would see his name later in the drive as Damasio rips off this 65-yard run. The touchdown-saving tackles by Manny Roberts. However, Taylor Damasio in the first half was incredible, and Valentine caps it off to put Arlington in front with this 13-yard score. But late in the first half, Hillcrest would not go away. Here is yet again Sean Bledsoe. He breaks it outside for a 27-yard gain, and the drive by way of Cameron Payne would be capped off with this 30-yard scoring strike where he would break free of 4 tackles from the Lions. And Payne throws the scoring toss to receiver Ryan Howard. He would do the rest himself. And with the extra point missed at the half, the Hillcrest Trojans would trail 14-13. Payne and company would come out in the second half firing as the quarterback scores this go-ahead touchdown toss, initially ruled incomplete, then overturned. After a 4-and-out by way of the Lions, Payne scampers in. 26-14 is the score at this point. Neither club would score from that moment. And, of course, with the win in the season opener, the Trojans are 1-0 with a 26-14 victory.
I'll tell you what, a great start for a great new head coach of the Hillcrest Trojans, Travis Carter. J.R. Ibarra, you are with the winning coach.
Yes, Travis Carter, congratulations. First win as a head coach.
Thank you very much.
What was it that really helped you guys in the second half there?
I think definitely second half. I mean, first off, hats off to Arlington. I mean, that was just a tough, well-coached football team that was physical the whole time. I think really third, fourth quarter, just kind of our conditioning and, I mean, Hillcrest kids, as long as I've been there, just been really resilient kids. Just a lot of fight, no quitting them. I'm really proud of them right now. A lot of things to clean up and fix, but really proud of those guys right now.
Yeah, what's the most positive you can take away from tonight?
The most positive, we just had guys step up. A couple running backs we had to put in there the last couple weeks that really we didn't know what they were going to do this week. Anthony Correa and Manny Robert, they ran hard. O-line blocked their tails off. Defense got down a little early, and like I said, resilient. We made adjustments, and we finished. And that's the biggest thing I'm happy about is we finished that game.
What are some of the big improvements you think you have to do?
Oh, a lot. Just right now, offensively, ball security. We can't get down in the red zone a few times and either cough it up or throw a pick or penalties. And just being more physical. We were doing a lot of arm tackling today. So a lot on both sides to clean up, special teams as well.
All right, Coach, congratulations on that first win.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. I guess you'll enjoy this just for a short moment.
Yeah, for a short moment. Get back to work tomorrow.
All right, good deal.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, thank you. All right, guys, we'll send it back up to you for tonight's wrap-up.
All right, well, the win from Hillcrest to open the season 26-14's got to feel pretty good for head coach Travis Carter.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he's got the monkey off his back. His team shows that where they finished last year, they're better this year. It's going to be a great season for the Trojans.
That'll do it for our coverage here of this football game. Football season is back. Hillcrest 26, Arlington 14. Make sure to continue watching Riverside TV and prep football as we've got the King and Great Oak matchup next Friday night. For J.R. Ibarra and Jeff Gorham and the rest of our excellent Riverside TV crew, Nick Rice saying so long from Pomona High School in Riverside, where the Hillcrest Trojans open the season with a 26-14 win over the Arlington Lions. Good night.